Hey, good afternoon. Jumping out here with a little act of faith. Every now and then I get going, talking with my wife, and she says, hey, you got to go on Facebook Live and share that. So this is one of those times. Usually I don't do it, but I'm feeling the prompting, and so I'm going to go ahead and do it. And the thought here that I want to bring, I guess, to the table is something that we're hearing a lot these days, especially, is this idea that seems like a pretty reasonable idea, which is bishops and priests shouldn't be telling people who to vote for and who not to vote for. Seems a simple enough idea that on its face seems like a pretty good idea. But when you think about it a little bit more, I guess I have some questions about it that I want to raise. One is that principle 100% true? Are there any exceptions to it? For instance, if we looked at some extreme where we were looking at maybe Hitler about to take power in Nazi Germany through an election, and I know that the situation there was a bit different in terms of it wasn't just two major parties. He won a plurality and all of that, but let's just say for the sake of simplicity, it's two candidates. One is Hitler-like, let's put it that way. And they want to mass murder a certain segment of the population, and the other person is not in favor of that, at least not to the degree that Hitler is. In fact, they're trying to stop that. And so wouldn't we say that bishops and priests, that everybody of goodwill, certainly every faithful Catholic, every faithful Christian, would say, don't vote for the guy that wants to murder people. Vote for the guy or the woman, whoever it may be, that doesn't. Wouldn't we want to be clear? Wouldn't we want to say in that situation, don't vote for Hitler? Wouldn't we do that? So I think we would. I think it's common sense that we would all say, of course, in that situation, we would say that, yes, they ought to name him by name and say, don't vote for Hitler. Don't vote for that person who's in favor of murder. So that leads me, I think you probably know where I'm going, that leads me to say, okay, well then that principle is not fully sound as a principle. There would be certain situations in which it is totally reasonable and virtuous for priests and for bishops and for everybody to be saying, don't vote for this person, vote for that person. Even if they've received the sacrament of holy orders, it wouldn't be meddling in politics. It would be a mandate of morality to say, don't vote for this person, vote for this other person. So let's just apply it to where we are today. And that's where I'm going, which is with this upcoming presidential election, Joe Biden, he is in favor of increasing the mass murder of the preborn. We also know that President Donald Trump, he has done more to protect the preborn than any president since Roe. That's factually true if you just look at the policies that have been put into place. There's no disputing that. And so, and then if we just look at one particular policy position of Joe Biden, I think it makes it very, very clear. Even though we're all desensitized, I think that's the X factor in all of this. We're all pretty desensitized to abortion. It's not like we're seeing it like Hitler coming into power, wanting to mass murder people because of their ethnicity or anything like that. We just don't look at it in those terms of evil because we're so desensitized to what abortion is. But abortion is evil, and it is killing. It is the mass murder of 3,000 children every single day, and the exploitation by those moms who are going in for those abortions by the lie of abortion, which is a cultural lie, and also a lie of the abortion industry, also a political lie, and even in some sense a lie of the church for not standing up against it as hard as they ought to, and thereby sort of implicitly saying, by our lack of witness, our lack of proclamation of the truth of what abortion really is, and trying to stop it with everything we've got, that it's not that big a deal, is kind of the message that we're sending by our sort of our lack of a full witness against it. Right? So just look at the situation with Joe Biden, right? So one policy position, that's the Hyde Amendment. So the Hyde Amendment, because it's in place, it prohibits federal funding of abortions, of most abortions, right? So direct federal funding of most abortions is prohibited by the Hyde Amendment. It's been in place for decades. Joe Biden has gone on record that he wants to eliminate the Hyde Amendment. It's part of the Democrat platform. They want to eliminate the Hyde Amendment. That is on the ballot for this November. What does that mean? That means that not only will we have abortion, but you're going to have to pay for it. Direct funding of taxpayer dollars are going to have to pay for it. We're all going to be implicated in abortion, even way more than we already are. Whether we like it or not, we're going to be forced to pay for it. Our taxpayer funds are going to be directly paying for it in a massive way. All right. This is also going to increase the number of abortions that are taking place, obviously, by a wide margin. All right. So it's going to increase the amount of murders taking place of innocent children, the exploitation of moms in need when we should be helping them. And it's also going to be now getting others, all of us, the entire nation, to participate in abortion at a level that we never have before. Look, if we're looking at this clearly and plainly, this is so wrong. This is so evil. And then we could look at other public policy positions when it comes to abortion and other public policy positions in general as well. But just looking at this one, just to get very, very clear at it, taxpayer funding of abortions, implicating the entire nation at a whole new level of participating in abortion. Isn't this such a level of evil that, yes, every priest, every bishop, every single person of goodwill, every single faithful Catholic, faithful Christian ought to be saying, do not vote for Joe Biden. Not because of anything about him necessarily, it's about what he's going to do. He's telling us what he's going to do. So do we want that to happen? Or do we want it to be stopped? Not because of anything about us, but because of the people that it's going to harm. It's going to massively harm more babies who will be murdered, massively harm more pregnant moms in need who will be gravely exploited, massively harm hundreds of millions of people living in this nation, having to figure out what are we going to do now that we are participating with this murder, with this mass murder, this ongoing mass murder atrocity of abortion, this human rights atrocity that is ongoing in our time, killing 3,000 every single day. Now we're paying for it, directly paying for it at a massive level. Do we want that to happen? Well, if we don't say, don't vote for Joe Biden, if we don't say that, then it is like we're saying we want that to happen, because that is what's going to happen. He said he's going to do it, and that is what he will do. Look, I was living in New York State when Andrew Cuomo said what he was going to do before he was reelected. He said he was going to expand abortion to this extreme degree. And guess what he did when he was reelected? He expanded abortion to an extreme degree. Remember, he lit up the World Trade Center, one World Trade Center in pink, and he was laughing about it as he was signing the bill into law, right? They're telling us what they're going to do, right? Nobody stood up really against Cuomo. The bishops and the priests and the leaders did not stand up in advance and say, he's saying he's going to do this. Nobody vote for him. What would have happened if they did? Would the people have listened? I don't know, but I know they would have been faithful. They would have been faithful to their office, not because they're playing politics, but because they're being clear with people, because they're loving people enough to tell them the truth. Believe this person what they're going to say. This is going to hurt a lot of people in an extreme way, and we can't have that. Do not vote for them. I don't know. You guys let me know if I'm off, if I'm crazy here, right? Or if this is actually like really common sense. If this is kind of like a no-brainer. And if it is, that's what kind of concerns me about myself and about all of us, because for those of us who get this, who understand the evil of abortion, and we do work to try to end it, to advance towards the end, and to try to serve these pregnant moms in need and all of it, yet we still kind of wrestle with, well, should the bishops, should the priests say that, it's a mortal sin to vote for Biden, or should they tell people not to vote for Biden? We kind of go back and forth. What's the right thing to do? Why isn't it a no-brainer for us? Why isn't it so simple for us to just say, of course they ought to say, we cannot vote for Biden, or do not vote for Biden? Of course they should be telling people that. Would you be telling people, do not vote for someone who's in favor of mass murder? Do not vote for someone who's going to have taxpayer-funded, direct taxpayer-funded mass murder, right? That's what is on the table here. And I think if we look at it just simply for what it is, then I think it becomes very clear we all have to say that. Do not vote for Joe Biden this November. Do not vote for Joe Biden this November. In fact, can we be so bold as to say the other, which is for all of his problems, for all of the difficulties that he may have in personality or whatever else you want to point to, or certain public policies that you want to debate, whatever it may be, President Trump has been the most pro-life president for the preborn, for the women that are being exploited by abortion than any president ever has been. His policies have been good, very good. Can he do more? Absolutely. We need to push him to do more. But can we tell people this November, vote for Donald Trump? I think we ought to, because you know why? It's going to stop Joe Biden. And that's what we have to stop. Not again, it's not about Joe Biden. It's about what will happen if Biden is elected. And what will happen will be the ongoing mass murder of the preborn by the thousands every single day will even increase. And it will also be directly taxpayer funded by massive proportions. And that means we're all going to be more deeply supporting abortion, deeply involved in that evil than ever before. And what does that mean for the country? What are the ramifications of that didn't just happen, but we voted for it. We voted for it. We said yes to that in our free will. We said, yes, give me some of that by voting for someone who said they were going to do it. Then we voted them in, and then they did it. What will be the ramifications of that? I don't think they're good on any level. So I say this for the good of all of our souls, certainly for the good of the children that are in danger and the good of those moms that are in danger as well. Let's continue to pray for everybody that are directly affected by these things, including all of us. There's none of us that is untouched by what's going on in our country with abortion. By God's grace, I pray that we will all see it more and more clearly what's really going on, and not just be focused on this election. Yes, let's be focused correctly on this election and respond rightly in what we're called to do in terms of voting, but we've got to do even way more. Get involved in your local community. Okay, go help those pregnant moms in need, not just from afar at a pregnancy help center. That's great. If that's your calling, thank you. God bless you. But we need the church to step up and say it's not enough. It is good. Let's bolster those efforts. Let's build them up more and more. Those pregnancy help resource centers, all of that is awesome. We need them. But then let's also extend it to the sidewalk outside of those abortion centers, so we're actually encountering the people in need, and we're actually inviting them over lovingly, prayerfully, and helping them. I wasn't thinking I was going to mention this, but I will, since it seems to be coming up in my mind right now, and that is I'm actually doing a sidewalk training, a basic sidewalk ministry training. I'm going to be doing that on Thursday night at 8 p.m. You can register for it. I guess I'll post a link to that somewhere in the comments here. And if you want to register that, it's just a quick 1 hour free live webinar to just go more deeply into that action of local sidewalk ministry in your local area, how you can really help these pregnant moms in need. It is so beautiful. I've seen it firsthand, and it is incredible. And we need to be doing it. So I can show you how you can get involved with even just a little bit of time that you might have, even just 1 hour a week, even just 1 hour a month. But I'll at least share the vision with you so you can have something to ponder, to consider, to bring to prayer if you've never really considered it before. But God bless you. Let's love God. Let's love one another. Praise be Jesus Christ. God bless you.